Hello everybody, thanks for watching. My name's Joe Quick and this is Joe's Quick Review. If you're enjoying the channel, be sure to hit like and subscribe as we're reviewing a new game each week. Today we're taking a look at
MerFight!
Curse of the Arctic Prince, developed and published by Mattrified Games. Now this looks like a lot of fun and it's got serious vibes layered with a lot of comedy as well. It reminds me a lot of the anime One Piece and the fishmen throughout the story. So if you're a fan of that level of humour and creativity, then there's probably something in this for you. Now looking at this start menu, we've got a lot of options. Story mode, arcade, training, challenges. Some of these are still under development, but their online and versus mode are already quite well polished, and the game is available on GameJolt, itch.io and early access on Steam. So if you want to slap your friend in the face with a fish or hit them with a flipper, you can grab a copy of the game and do that already. Now I don't have any friends, but I do enjoy a good story, so let's go ahead and check that out. Story mode presents us with 8 levels of difficulty, all with a watery theme. Calm, still, shallow, flowing, steady, rapid, flooding, and deluge. It's a nice touch, but if you don't know your calm sea from your tsunami, then you might be in for a bit of a surprise. I'm by no means a fighting game expert, so I'm going to stick with the mid-level flowing difficulty. Tough start. Gigi sets off on her first adventure, but it starts off a little crabby. Defeat Gigi's opponent quickly before things get out of hand. Let's do a quick character bio. This is Gigi, a young adventurer out to make her mother proud. She is an anglerfish. You know, that somewhat less than attractive fish with the dead eye and the light bulb on its head. You probably already know that it uses this light to attract prey. But did you know that only the female of the species has this little decoration? These fish are also so flexible that they can eat prey up to twice their size. So how does this monster of the deep become this hottie right here? Well, she's also part betta fish, also known as a Siamese fighting fish. Whilst they're no threat to humans, they are naturally territorial and will attack other betta fish passing by. They use their large flowing fins to make themselves appear larger and intimidate their opponent. So that explains where Gigi gets her good looks and fighting spirit. Now let's get back to the story. Gigi, a precocious angler, enters Fort Waverley in the hopes of starting her first adventure. Huh? How am I going to go on an adventure if there are no quests? Maybe I'm at the wrong place. It's definitely different than Mum described. Oh wait, a crustacean mercenary. Maybe I can team up with them. Hi, I'm Gigi, and... No. No what? I didn't even... I work alone. Always. Besides, you'd only slow me down. If anything, I'd speed you up. I've trained with one of the best. Sure you did. Is that how you lost your spines on your left arm? Or did you fall out of a tree when you were a fry? Well, it was a really tall Walentia orange tree and... That's what I thought. Listen, adventuring is pretty much a dying business. Is that why you're so crabby? What did you say? Oh what? Now you can't hear through that shell of yours? Seems you're less in need of adventure and more in need of some manners. Oh? And you're going to teach me, I suppose. Well then, let's make this a quick lesson and get cracking. Get it? Unfortunately, but the only thing cracking will be your back. Ooh, that's fighting talk. Did I mention that the Kickstarter was to raise money for voiceovers?
Pass or scale?
I didn't apply.
Lap 1. Dive in.
And here we go. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what the buttons are. Okay, this is a perfect example of why you do not skip the tutorial. This other guy is a blue crab, by the way. I don't think that needs further explanation. Did I mention I'm not very good at fighting games? I'm probably not going to do this any justice, so apologies in advance to the developers. Well, that was embarrassing. Let's go and do some training. So we have basics and we have character specifics. Clearly I need to start with the basics, baby steps. And here we get to fight a monochrome version of ourselves.
Good job. You're getting better.
It feels a little bit patronising, but at the same time appropriate. Obviously these are very basic steps. We'll fast forward to some of the more advanced moves, and I cannot master them no matter what I try. Did I mention I'm not very good at fighting games? A side note for the developers here: whether I'm on the left side or the right side of my opponent, the arrows in the instructions don't change. So that definitely didn't improve my chances of mastering these super moves. After a good 30 minutes plus of training, I decided to give story mode another try. With my newly acquired skills, I was confident that I was going to beat the crab this time. And then he done this to me. Whilst I was showing some signs of improvement, it was obvious who was going to win this fight. A bit more practice and the odds were a bit more even, but Gamma still had the fight in hand. Or claw.
Finish.
But that's not how this story ends.
The waves of fate are crashing. Lap 1. Dive in.
As I now successfully beat this guy up, let's take a quick look at the Kickstarter campaign. Created by Matthew DeLucas, the brains behind Mattrified Games, they managed to successfully raise a total of $5,500 out of a target $5,000. As I said before, this game already exists. The campaign was created to introduce voice acting, and any additional funds would go towards further developing the game. As I scroll through, you can see there is a lot of detail about the world, about the characters, about the mechanics. It looks like a lot of thought has gone into what they're creating and what they want the final product to be.
Finish.
Damn, you're a lot tougher than you look. A lot tougher than you anyway. That was barely a warm-up. So about teaming up, I think I've proven, forget it. But listen, you're pretty tough, I'll give you that, but I work alone. I'm not splitting this bounty with anyone. I'll work for free. I'm just looking for the experience. Wow, you are new to this. I'll give you a quick tip. Never work for free. If you need a job, maybe take up the aerobics instructor position here. Aerobics instructor? What? No thanks. I'm out of here. Maybe I'll be back tomorrow. She'll be better off trying next week. Maybe next year at this rate. An eel and 2 sharks. Despite her quick victory, Gigi is disappointed. On her way back home, she encounters a sharkolite being attacked by a shark and eel, and decides to help out. As Gigi defeat the attacking shark and eel, health does not recover between fights. What? I hope I'm not carrying across the health from my fight with the crab, because I've got none left. More terrible voiceovers coming your way. What a waste of time. That sparring match wasn't even worth the trip. Maybe there's another fort nearby. Wait, what's going on up there? Alright Atlas, give us the Arctic amulet and we won't have any trouble. You know I can't do that. Without this, the Arctic Prince can't be crowned. Please, you still believe all that elemental monarch chum they've been feeding ya? Even after all this time, you've learned nothing. Hey, what's going on here? This doesn't concern you, dimwit. Well now it does. Come on, I'll take you both on. This'll be over in a flash. Let's go, Strike. Don't be so hasty, Elva. I'll take on Bulkhead first. Why don't we take her on at the same time? There's no honour in that. You're the last shark who should be talking about honour. Don't worry, Atlas. You'll have the honour of being next. Enough talking. You're putting me to sleep. And it's time for another character bio. Atlas is a blue shark. He's blue because of overfishing and climate change. He is a devout sharkolite. That's a shark acolyte, a believer and follower of one of the 3 gods in MerFight lore, the aquatic. And he has been tasked with finding the next Arctic king. That's convenient as blue sharks like to travel. normally in packs, which is why I guess GG is joining the fray. They're little threat to humans because they prefer deep water, but humans are still very much a threat to them. On the other side we have Strike. He's also a shark, but he's much bigger and he's not blue. Strike is a bull shark, which is actually much more likely to attack a human as they frequent tropical shorelines. He's a former sharkalite and now makes his money from underground fighting and theft. On his travels he meets Bolt, a young electric eel who ran away from home in search of adventure. Electric eels can release a charge of up to 600 volts. That's enough to power an electric car, but these eels aren't generally aggressive. They only use their shock to stun prey and keep predators away. Okay, here we go.
Heaven or shell.
Good news is we've got full health.
Lap 1. Dive in.
Let's give this a try. I don't like my odds. Ooh. Ow. No, no.
Finish.
Let's try that again.
The waves of fate are crashing. Lap 1. Dive in.
Come on. Come on, almost got him. Yeah.
Finish. The waves of fate are crashing. Lap 1. Dive in.
Oh no, what's this move? This guy's a nightmare, I can't even get close to him. I'm gonna die.
Finish.
Yep. Try again. Okay, so this throws us back to Strike.
The waves of fate are crashing.
Not in my
Lap
favour.
1. Dive in.
This guy reminds me of a slog from Oddworld. What? Well, he knows how to use the controls.
Finish.
That's not how the story ends. But things didn't improve. This guy had his throw me over the shoulder technique and his slog attack, which were near impossible to get past, and if I did make it past him, then Bolt was sure to finish the job. I changed it from flowing difficulty to shallow. I changed it from shallow difficulty to still. And I changed it from still difficulty to calm. And then he pulls this move on me. So there's not a lot of differences in the difficulty level at the minute. I'm going to get beaten up regardless. But they are still working on the computer's AI, so we're likely to see improvements here, and hopefully I can make it past the second level. I'm really keen to see the story develop because of all the history they've created in the world and the characters themselves. Mattrified Games have also stated that they want to create a story mode which incorporates all the characters rather than one or two main protagonists. Unique fighting experiences such as your player being poisoned or the opponent being invisible, and possibly unique outcomes, so if you complete a fight in a certain way it will shift the story in a certain direction. I think it's a lot of fun and certainly has a lot of potential. So unfortunately for us, that is exactly how the story ends. Until I master the controls or they make it a bit easier, I'm certainly not going to progress past level 2. So I'm going to let the AI do its thing whilst I talk a bit about the mechanics.
Forgive me, my king, but I must stop you.
So, it's come to this, Tina.
Pass or scale? Lap 1. Dive in.
In terms of general input, you have everything you would expect in a fighting game: jump, crouch, high punch, high kick, low punch, low kick, and these buttons can be combined to perform throws, overhead attacks, and put the character in a unique state. Speaking of unique, MerFight has a lenient input system, which is something I haven't seen before, to try and assist newer players to the fighting genre with easier input for special attacks. So instead of having to do a quarter circle and push an attack button, you can simply press forward and attack. However, if you do manage to complete the more challenging of the two, it will give you a slight boost in attack power. If we take a look at the UI at the top of the screen, we've got 3 main meters, the largest of which is obviously your health bar, and that's going to go down as you get hit. The long meter below that is the energy meter, split into 3 segments and used to perform super moves. The meter fills up as you attack, get hit, and even if you collect the bubbles emitted from your opponent. It's an interesting feature, but I found it took me out of the fight as I lean more towards strategy and collecting bubbles. The final meter, the 3 round spheres, are earned by filling a third of the energy meter, and these can be used to perform pop cancels, which will cancel your opponent's normal or special attack, and guard pops, which will increase your defensive capabilities. When you start a combo, a 4th meter will appear. This is the wipeout meter and intended to stop you having a 100 hit combo. Once the meter is full, your opponent will have a hard knockdown which they won't be able to recover from. That's a fairly high level overview of the mechanics, but the lessons and the training tutorials in the game give you everything you need to be a better fighter than I am. Now who's this cool guy in the glasses? It's our friend Strike. If you like to mix things up with the character's appearance, this game has you covered. Let's head on over to the Versus menu and see what options are available. Now the game currently has 12 playable characters, each with their own skills and abilities, so you can find your favourite or choose a random one. Most of them have different costumes you can choose and around 8 different colour schemes. We also have 12 stages to choose from, 13 if we include the training room, and we'll have a look through some of these in a second. But before we do, can we please take a moment to appreciate this costume?
This should be over in no time.
Come on! I'm bored already.
Pass or scale? Lap 1. Dive in!
She's an anglerfish. I'm guessing this is what she would look like if both her parents were anglers as opposed to one of them being a beta fish. And Bolt looks good in red. What do you think? We've got this guy who also has a superhero outfit.
I think I'm warmed up.
I don't know if Carmen Rider means anything to anyone.
Sorry about the mess.
Gambit the crab breaks out of his shell.
I have no quarrel with you.
You face a future god.
The jellyfish witch dresses up as a witch, but only on weekends.
Better have a good ending.
And this last guy has outfits for both Beetlejuice and Baraka. So you're definitely spoilt for choice in the costume department. So we've spoken about online and versus, we've looked at the story mode, we've done a bit of training. Let's take a look at the challenges. We've got combo challenges, block and punish challenges, and lore challenges. I should probably check out the block and punish, but let's just have a look at the combo. We've got all the characters here, numbers across the top and colours, which I assume means level of difficulty. So starting with the basics, this is similar to the training room. I'm still equally unsuccessful. There we go. Give me a minute.
Good job.
And I think I'm probably just going to give up here. Don't want to waste your time. Oh, so that was actually 2 challenges already. Replay's a cool feature, so they don't have anything working yet, but obviously the intention is you'll be able to go back and rewatch your matches. In the info section we have version releases and upcoming features, which is really good to see. Support email there if you need it. And if we take a quick look at the credits, we've got the lead developer Matt DeLucas, Tom Goldrick, the community manager, and William Edwards, the narrative editor. Further shout outs to voice actors, musicians, and the people that supported the project. That's me. So there's definitely more people backing this project than building it, and they need our continued support. So if you're interested, consider buying the game or check out their Patreon page. Without further ado, let's rate that game.
What do we have here?
May the aquatic forgive me for what I'm about to do.
Yeah. Pass or scale? Lap 1. Dive in!
First we'll talk about the art and graphics. I really like the environments, they've got a lot of colour, got a lot of character, and they really set the scene for our merfolk. The visual effects are really nice and fit in smoothly with the gameplay. And whilst I love the character concepts, graphically I feel some improvements could be made. They don't look like they belong in the environment, which isn't exactly a bad thing because you don't want them to blend in with the background, but they have this shiny, plasticky look about them. I don't know if it was an intentional design choice or not, but I do enjoy the fact that their eyes pop out of their head when they get hit. The menus and user interface are very simple in design, but they are easy to navigate. Keeping with our watery theme, I'm going to give graphics 3 starfish. The animation is very nice and runs smoothly with the controls. You normally find in fighting games if they're caught in the air and kicked in the face 5 times they hold the same position, so this fully meets my expectations. Animation gets a full 5 starfish. For cutscenes we have to talk in heads to develop the story. I know the developer really wants to build the lore into the game without making you read 100 paragraphs. I think they've done a fairly good job of that. The conversations are short and sweet, and the character profiles are animated, so it's certainly more interesting than just staring at pictures. If they had received more funding through the Kickstarter, then they had intended to include voice acting here as well. Whether or not this all changes in the future remains to be seen. In the meantime, you'll have to deal with my questionable rendition. Okay. They also have really nice introductory videos for each of the characters, which are fully animated. so I'm going to give cutscenes 4 starfish.
Hey, that's my line. Yeah.
We didn't get to see much of the story, did we? But I've read about the characters and I've read about the world, and I really want to see this develop. If there's anyone out there that's beaten Visharkanil, please let me know, because I don't like cliffhangers. However, based on what we've seen and its potential, I'll give the story 3 starfish. The user interface, as I said before, is very simple, but keeps in line with the theme of the game. However, some improvements could be made to the controls, which we'll discuss now. The input system uses InControl, which supports a variety of controllers including the more recent Xbox and PlayStation series. I have a fairly basic controller that it didn't recognise, so I ended up using the keyboard, which if you're a hardcore PC gamer that might work for you, but historically I've been more of a console guy. There are a few quirks using the keyboard, such as the enter or return key being continue as well as pause. But to be honest, these are such small issues, I'm not even sure they qualify as such. It should be a simple code fix, but definitely not a priority. The in-game controls are very responsive and fully configurable, so the fighting mechanics are really nice, despite my own personal performance. I'll give the controls 4 starfish. Socially, I think fighting games always do really well, because we all want to beat each other up, we just don't do it. It's already got online and local player versus player functionality, so you can go and play it now with a friend, or an enemy, or maybe even see an enemy. But I think this game is really fun, and I can imagine sitting down on the couch with the family, passing the controller around and all having a good time. Social gets 5 starfish. In terms of replayability, again it's a fighting game. If you play it with someone new, you're going to have a different experience. The more you play it, the more you understand the controls, the better at the game you get, the more enjoyable it is. And if the developers achieve everything they want to with the story mode, I think that's something to come back to again and again as well. Replayability gets 5 starfish. The soundtrack's really nice. It's got this light-hearted Mario vibe in places, which suggests it's family friendly and doesn't take itself too seriously. And it's got the upbeat tempo to say you better punch something or you're going to get KO'd. The sound effects are really nice, and congratulations again on a successful Kickstarter, because the voiceovers really bring it to life. 5 starfish for the soundtrack. It's also nice to see indie game devs looking at accessibility. Although this game doesn't have major functionality for hearing or visual impairment, it has introduced the leniency system to make it more accessible for people new to the genre or possibly slower reflexes. Accessibility gets 3 starfish. So that's it. I really like this game. It's got all the functionality you would expect from a AAA title like Mortal Kombat, but as much as I like dissecting my opponent, I feel like I could sit down and play this with my family and friends, young or old, and have a good time. As I mentioned at the start of this video, if you're a fan of One Piece or Dragon Ball, you're probably going to have a good time playing MerFight, so don't be afraid to check it out. MerFight gets a big thumbs up. If you want to visit an equally creative world void of man, check out Forgotlins.
We were created by man to protect him. Mold his surroundings. Store his wisdom. Conquer distances. And as symbols of his divinity. We are Forgotlings.
It hasn't got long left, so if you're interested, please check it out. There's a link in the description below. For a slight change of pace and a throwback to late 80s, early 90s point and click adventures, join me next week for my review of Orbital Cargo Division by Manuel Schenk.